You won't like my answer. What's up, guys? Pencil here, and here we are to do a nice little quick breakdown and discussion on whether or not Megumi's even worth saving at this point. Like, genuinely, does bro actually have value anymore to the point where we should keep doing what we're doing in attempts to save him? Or whether or not the man should just be a lost cause, chalked up to the game, and we should keep it pushing. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's getting quite contentious, especially with certain scenarios that have been established very recently. It's gonna be rough, but we got a decent chunk to talk about, so let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. Editing me, ready, 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do happen to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, this is Megumi. This is Megumi. This is your brain on unlimited voids. I want you to realize this. This is Megumi, y'all. This right here is Megumi Fushiguro. Except probably worse. This man, he is lost in, like, there are levels to the sauce. I tell you this, I don't tell you from experience, but I tell you this from secondhand experience, from quoted experience. There are levels to the sauce. And when I tell you, Megumi ain't in no ragu. He ain't in no ravioli sauce. He ain't even in no pizza sauce. He's so deep in that 5-layer dip that he is basically unretrievable. That man didn't just get hit by 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 whole unlimited voids. Some of those unlimited voids, which lasted upwards of nearly 3 minutes. 3 of them. And of course, remember what 0.2 seconds did to special grade tier disaster curses and regular civilians. Bro had to sit there and take those defenseless. Bro has been chilling in line of big old can curses for 1.5 minutes now. And he was subjected to that. Now, of course, there are certain concepts being introduced. Oh, whoa, not yet. There are certain concepts that have been introduced in 249. One of the biggest concepts being that, clock's running down, while Suguna's clock is running up. As Yuta notices, Suguna's reverse curse technique output is returning. That is way too deep a voice for Yuta. Suguna's reverse curse technique output is returning. It's only a matter of time before he can use his domain again. So we know it's possible to recover from unlimited voids over the passage of time. Notably, since this point in 230 to this point here in 249, it's probably at most been like 15 minutes. Okay, maybe like 20. I'm not sure how much longer, because we don't necessarily get like clean time frames after the domain clashes. We don't really have too much information on how much time has passed, but it's at least been under an hour. Things have been moving very, very quickly. Remember, Gojo versus Sukuna wasn't actually that long, and Kashimo versus Sukuna was even quicker, and Hikoduma's little dancey dance with Sukuna was likely even faster. I highly doubt it's been more than an hour. But remember, Sukuna was exposed to Limited Void for how long? And he got this extreme brain damage that meant he couldn't open domain. Sukuna was exposed to Limited Void for less than 10 seconds. Megumi was exposed to Unlimited Void for probably like 6, 9 minutes. Y'all's getting devious and dangerous. So, of course, Megumi, he's in a rough spot. However, let's not just write him off from that fact alone, right? It's entirely possible that Megumi's just built different. He is Potential Man, after all. And we know, when you have cursed energy versus when you don't have cursed energy, or at least you have control over it, there are different levels to how Unlimited Void can affect you. Sure, the regular humans in the Shibuya station needed 2 whole months of recovery in order to come back sane and proper and be reintroduced into society, right? And of course, that was still for only 0.2 seconds of exposure, but still, characters like the disaster curses were able to be like, oh, I tasted colors there for a second. Where am I? Who am I? Oh, there's Ghetto. So, like, they did that in, like, a few minutes. Maybe, like, 3. So, who knows? Maybe Megumi, he's still, like, legally savable. Probably. Like, maybe, just a maybe, if you were to save him from this man, he would need maybe like a month or two. Maybe you give that the 2 months, right? You upscale. Okay, it took a few minutes for the disaster curses to snap out of it for 0.2 seconds. You multiply the 0.2 seconds by how many seconds you think the domain exposure was for Unlimited Void. Megumi, he can presumably recover, let's say, in less than a year. Let's be super duper generous. Let's just completely say by the time of his 17th birthday, Megumi Fushiguro can actually be a person again. He can think and eat solid foods again. Alright. He's savable. And of course, stacked on with the fact that we just don't know how this is going to work. Like, remember, as Gojo says, the thing that got affected by Unlimited Void was Megumi's soul, not necessarily Megumi's brain. And heck, if Sukuna right now is... not you again. But if Sukuna is supposed to just be Megumi right now, as he is consistently noted as, even right now, while he's a little bit bigger and beefier and juicier than ever before, it's specifically noted, even by the Culling Games, that, yeah, Broski is most certainly Megumi Fushiguro. You know, rule number 15, Megumi Fushiguro has been given the authority to activate the merger. So, like, it's highly likely that Bro may just be good, right? Especially if his RCT's output is coming back, and it means the brain damage is coming down. Maybe when Megumi gets the body back, he'll get basically Sukuna body, meaning his brain is fresh. All that's wonderful, beautiful, scrumbly up. Is it worth it, though? Is it worth it, though? Is it worth the gamble that we're taking right now? Is it really? And you may be wondering, Pencil Man, what gamble? Yuto Okotsu is currently holding back. As he says, once he activates that big old fat juicy domain expansion, Bro gets in his own head. Well, actually, no. He says he'll finish everything in this domain, but, big booty butt cheeks, it's highly unlikely. As, look at what Sukuna immediately realizes. Thanks to Fushiguro Megumi's memory, I remember and I know that the possessed brat's curse technique is copy. They want to keep half my arms and mouth busy by making me keep using Hollow Wicker Basket as a means of countering the canvas attack, probably the Angel's curse technique that comes with the domain, and to attack with Unlimited Curse Technique copy, which appears to only activate inside the domain. Then the boy will deliver a blow that captures the soul and tear Megumi Fushiguro's body from my body. So, Yuta, he gonna have to go soft. He gonna have to go baby mode. He gonna have to hold back just a little bit. If you think Yuta Okotsu can go in there and just start one-tapping Sukuna, not one-tapping, but like do real lethal damage to Sukuna, swinging with some serious thin icebreakers, not this little baby breaker, he can't do that. Because the goal is still to save Megumi. And remember the last guy that we tried to use to save Megumi? This is currently what he's looking like right now. He's looking a little, he's looking a little light. His arms are looking a little bit rough. He perished. So, realize, our crusade to save Megumi Fushiguro, we have lost Gojo Satoru, Higuruma Hiromi, Kashimo Hajime, and presumably soon to be more. All because we're trying to save Megumi Fushiguro. But of course, you can make an easy argument at this point, right? Easiest argument to make against me right now is, well, Pencil Man, before you try to go kick Megumi off the island, let's talk about it for real. Technically, Gojo, no matter what, as he says, thought he was going to lose regardless. So saving Megumi didn't hold him back, he just couldn't beat Sukuna. Yeah, true. Kashima Hajime clearly stood no chance against Sukuna. It's not like he was holding anything back. Yeah, true. Understandable. Higuruma Hiromi, we saw their interactions. It was not in Higuruma's cards to take down Ryo and Sukuna, right? Like, this wasn't the case. So yeah, I can give that. But the thing is, we've lost them. Those cards are off the table. And fortunately enough for our casting crew, the other threat is now, quote-unquote, off the table. Not you, I keep coming back to you. We're going to get to you in a second. But with that being the case, another threat is now off the table. Big Jaku seems Big Naku. AKA, he's knocked out. We're done with Jaku. And the merger's been transferred over to Sukuna. Meaning that it's merging time. Whenever Sukuna feels like it's merging time. So now, we don't have to worry about Kenjaku just randomly being like, it's merging time! And then suddenly everyone starts merging. we now need to worry about Sukuna. And now Sukuna has dominion over when the mergers to begin. Sukuna, at any moment, can decide, you know what, it's merging time. Let's just do it. So, if I had to quantify the level of threat that Sukuna is right now, it's threat alpha, threat omega. Threat, like, the omega level mutant may just be accurate state, not in terms of power, but like in terms of just sheer threat and danger right now, yeah, Sukuna is basically an omega level mutant. Not only for the fact that he's this dangerous already to the point where he's casually one-shotting prodigies, well, not even one-shotting, playing around with prodigies that even rival Satoru Gojo in terms of shining talent, but also, he literally has the merger now. Bro can just start merging anywhere and everywhere. So his power, insane. His access to a crazy thing that'll wipe out all of Japan, insane. His willingness to do it, clearly established. And remember what his prerequisite is for starting merge in time. Slaughter everybody. And then slaughter every last Calling Games player. So right now, there is no more threat than Sukuna. I mean, Tengen. But like once again, that's a threat intertwined to Sukuna. It's looking dangerous. It's looking devious. It's looking a little bit deadly. So I ask you, once again, is Megumi Fushiguro worth saving? Is he really? Should we really be sacking all this just to save a guy who may not even be able to eat solid food anymore? Who may need assistance in every aspect of life, because bro's 3, 4 unlimited voids deep. Is it really worth it? And here's the thing. I can see the other argument. Well, Pencil Man. Let's be real. It's not like they have a way to even take Sukuna out right now. They still need to wear him down. Saving Megumi is technically the secondary effect. The byproduct of Yuji's new ability. As Sukuna assumes here at the end, the goal is to use Yuji to tear Sukuna away from Megumi's body. But even with that being the case, that's because that's their only option. We see Yuta, and I think I just misremembered, I don't see Yuta mention anything about holding back in this chapter. At least not here. They see, nope. Return. Even worse, Higuruma. Full support. Rika, strength indispensable. Silence. Mini dismantles. Nothing. Excuses. Defeat. So, yeah, there's nothing about holding back. But we literally see Yuta slam Big Kuna with a nasty thin icebreaker. And unless it gets confirmed that he has Ryu Ishigori's Granite Blast, or he has Star Rage, or he has a purple, or a red, or a blue stored away in one of those many nameless and designless swords, it just seems clear that he's not going to really be doing the darn damage. Once again, this is a thin icebreaker, seemingly enough straight to the domer, and it doesn't even really do much other than like leave a slight slash on Sukuna's upper brow. A slash that we cannot even really, like, this just looks like his eyebrow. So like, clearly, there's just no way that we could actually beat this Sukuna right now. He's just unstoppable. They're just gonna have to keep wearing him down. They're just gonna have to hope that Itadori Yuji can mink. So yeah, technically, we aren't just saving Megumi in order to save Megumi. That's not the whole goal. We're just trying to beat Sukuna in any way, shape, and of her. What is Sukuna in right now? Oh, a domain expansion. Right. A domain expansion with a sure hit technique active right now. Very, very interesting. Neat. What is Sukuna currently doing right now in order to survive? Oh yeah, he's using Hollow Wicker Basket. Right. Yeah, he is using Hollow Wicker Basket. So, So at least two of his arms, as he says himself, as he mentioned at the end of the chapter, at least one set of his arms and one of his mouths. I don't know why the mouth, like, does he have to keep chanting Hollow Wicker Basket? If so, Hollow Wicker Basket is even more trash than I thought it was. But, yeah. Keep using Hollow Wicker Basket, so his two arms are locked off. And also, Yuta Kotsu, he's right there, and he's clearly the main dish. He's clearly the threat right now. Bro could just keep slamming Sukuna in the face with thin icebreakers alone, and probably would get pretty annoying, and Sukuna can't really retaliate. Good stuff. If only we had a character who was fully capable of strolling into this domain, and, maybe, just maybe, dropping a blade on Sukuna's Yes, you know what time. I tricked you. Mwahahaha. What kind of evil laugh was that? This was secretly a Maki agenda video all along. Just because my stocks are in the trash doesn't mean my agenda will ever die. But yeah, Maki's still a Soul Split Katana. And she's currently immune to domains. Now, there is an issue. There is an issue still. The domain clearly has a closed barrier. That's why Sukuna's worried about the Surehead. If it didn't have a closed barrier, then there would be no Surehead active. And we know Yuta does not have an open barrier domain. So there is a very high likely possibility that Maki won't be able to enter. Because, like, Soul Split Katana is a cursed tool that has cursed energy. And presumably you can't just take those in and out as willy-nilly as her, since it actually has cursed energy. Of course, it wouldn't be recognized by Yuta's domain, presumably, but, rough stuff. If only, yeah, you know, Yuta can probably open just a teeny tiny hole to slide Soul Split Katana through, and then Maki can come in with the rest. And then, the rest is history. Literally just use the effect of Soul Split Katana. The blade that lied left was a replica of the cursed tool, Soul Split Katana. It can bypass the toughness of many substances and cut the soul. However, exerting that power fully requires eyes that can observe the souls of even inorganic matter. So, currently, this is the cleanest layup ever. Have her walk in, draw it, swing. Sukuna, his RCT output is restoring, right? He's next level. He's different. But also, he has to focus on the guy with all of the cursed energy in the room, and also the cursed brat who's going to come knock him out of Megumi's body. I think bro's pretty easily set up for a Maki layup. Especially since Maki kind of just hasn't done anything yet. And desperate to try and give her a role that isn't tied into Akari versus Urume. I know a lot of people, my fellow Maki fans out there, have definitely just agreed she's probably going to go help Hikari versus Urume. I don't want that. I want to see her remove Sukuna's head. And there's that. And another major reason why I'm so desperate for this to be right now, and I kind of think we need to give up on Megumi and skip over this whole plan and essentially just use it as a fake out and hope that Sukuna assumes wrong and doesn't realize that this is actually the plan. Right now, Sukuna could be minutes, he could be seconds, he could be nanoseconds away from restoring his domain. And remember, the instant that happens, we lose. We lose. Currently, we're kind of in a we-lose scenario, but thanks to Yuta's domain expansion, Sukuna's inability to move in the domain expansion, the Dangers of Angels technique, and Yuji's seeming enough, like, darn near immunity to the domain expansion, to the point where, like, there's no issue with him being in there at all. Of course, he's not an evil spirit, but still, it's kind of funny that he's just standing there, no problem at all. Due to all that, we're in a pretty good situation, but the second bro can throw up a malevolent shrine, we've lost. Because no one can approach him. And Yuta's domain will shatter. That's the big thing. Notably, there is technically, legally speaking, there's a bit of hope and cope if you think a certain someone's going to start cooking. And by someone, I literally mean Rika. You know, the one-arm victim right here. Because, hypothetically, she could restrain Sukuna's arms and leave it so that he cannot domain expansion. But considering the fact that they aren't doing that by the end of 249, and Rika, seemingly enough, is still unmanifest at the end of 249, that is something that's possible, but it's kind of unlikely, at least in my mind. I think we may just be cooked. In the sense that the moment Sukuna gets domain back, every win con's kind of off the table. Of course, there are characters who should be able to survive Malevolent Shrine. Maybe. Akandi Kinji should be fine. He should be perfectly fine. If he shows up to the battlefield and he sells jackpot, great! Issue is, the moment he walks into Malevolent Shrine, unless he tries to run out of it to pop domain again, that's it. He's got whatever remains of those 4 minutes and 11 seconds to try and cook against Sukuna, and considering he's a pillow puncher, he's not cooking up against Sukuna. Especially if Sukuna's standing in the middle of Malevolent Shrine, which no one would be able to brute force damage him through. No one. Not a soul. Once again, look at Rika. Admittedly, unmanifested Rika. But look at Rika getting backhanded like a child. Well, admittedly, Rika, the husk of Rika kind of still has the brain of a child. But still, getting backhanded like a baby. Don't backhand babies. Backhanded like a child. Back in like she's fodder. Sure, she's gonna get a massive amp when manifested, but still, I'm not sure if that's enough. Not against Sukuna. And of course, you run into the issue again, where if he gets that domain up, guess who immediately becomes useless? Maki. Like, unfortunately, she still counts. She's a dismantle victim. As much as I'd love the glazed Maki, unless she suddenly gets that last missing piece of inverted spirit of heaven and somehow manages to cover her entire body with that effect, worthless. Heck, even Mr. Yuji Tadori, Mr. I have a resistance to all your techniques. Remember, Yuji Itadori is very specifically only seemingly enough immune to Sukuna's slashes on his gauntlets. They're the only things that don't take damage. His chest literally gets torn apart by regular dismantles. Not to talk of a domain expansion dismantle. Y'all, they need to move. And they need to move now. Because the moment that's back, it's wraps. It's wraps. I'm sorry. Even if Hikari Kinji somehow gets, like, infinite jackpot and he doesn't have to worry about the time limit, he's not doing anything to Sukuna and Malevolent Shrine. If he's even able to reach it, Yuta is not damaging you. He's really not. I'm trying to think. Would he be able to? If it took Blue and Gojo to do enough damage to Sukuna over the course of an extended long-term battle inside a dual domain expansion for Sukuna to really have his domain broken, I'm sorry. As much as I love Mr. Akotsu, I really don't see him doing the numbers like that. Remember, Thin Icebreaker is a spatial manipulation Duraneg attack. Because it attacks the space you exist in, not necessarily you. This is all the damage that Sukuna took from it. That is it. Meaning the moment that domain comes back up, they're cooked. Fried. Stir-fried, if you will. And no one has an answer. Legit, no one. No one. The only person who could hypothetically come in and save them after the fact is Angel? Or Hana, she could technically come in and drop Jacob's ladder after that. But by the time she does, it's going to be too late. Unless Yuta suddenly learned how to spontaneously redevelop his domain afterwards, and then caught Sukuna. But even then, that would most likely get negated by Jacob's ladder. So that's still not even an option. So we go back to the fundamental question. Is Megumi Fushiguro worth the risk? Is he worth risking the domain expansion? Which could happen at literally any moment. As Yuta says, it's only a matter of time. A matter of time could be 15 years. But it could also be like 5 minutes. And I don't know. Sukuna's soul is very, very strong. Sure, Sukuna's soul did jiggle. It did do a jiggle wiggle a little bit when Itadori landed that first hit. But notably, Sukuna didn't notice any issues after that. He was just confused in the moment. And once again, Sukuna does have 2 whole arms that are still free. So, could get tragic just a little bit. But the thing is, right? It's still Megumi, Pencil. We can't just sack a Megumi. Come on now. Even if Sukuna does open domain, even if all that's still the case, we can still win. Pencil, you've got to have... Merger. We still can't, like, in a way, I still feel like we can't let that happen, for one. And if we do, for two, they lose. We can't have the merger happen because the merger is fully under Sukuna's control. Meaning that if they were to just remove Sukuna's head right now and sack Megumi, everybody's loss would be not in vain. Everyone would be just fine. Well, not just fine, but everyone's loss would have a purpose, a reason. And it's fully accessible. It's not some abstract thing. It's built into the narrative right now from a character who's been missing for a hot minute. The soul split katana is a thing that's been here, been established. Sukuna is locked in a domain that has a sure hit, and he's worried about the 2 main characters that's been established. And honestly, I just see the vision that Megumi's not worth saving. Because if they fail, the world ends. Maybe not the world ends. Once again, it depends on if the merger would be like, huh. Is that people overseas? And then it walks away. Like, if it walks all the way over, like, overseas, then we've lost if the merger comes out and beats Sukuna. But even still, just with Sukuna around, everyone perishes. Merger around, everyone also perishes. So it's a lose-lose scenario, and currently Megumi is the nexus point of all that. So even the biggest Megumi fans out there, I ask you to use your utilitarianism judgment. Who's more important? One shadowy boy, or the lives of literal millions of people and countless other named characters? Of course, I understand most Megumi fans will probably still answer Megumi, but I think it's just not worth it. With the current combination of factors at hand, from him being super duper cooked, omega cooked if you will, by countless unlimited voids, to the loss of basically every other pre-established win con, with the loss of Higuruma's Executioner's Blade holding us back massively, with the ever-eminent threat with the ever imminent threat of Big Janku being removed from the narrative, but in return, Big Kuna getting the merger added to his inventory, and top that off with not just that, but also Ryomen Sukuna presumably getting his domain back anytime now. And every single thing that can go wrong goes wrong and wipes the vert. I just don't see it. I don't see it as worth the sacrifice. Just ain't there. It's not worth it. If we have to sack somebody, we've gotta sack Megumi. But that's what I think. Please tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Would you sack Megumi? Would you not sack Megumi? Do you think the plan of Maki coming in just even makes sense at all? Do you think there's ways for you to execute Sukuna right now, even without Maki interference? Or usually without you to help? Well, not without you to help, but with you to help and with Rika help. Please let me know all that and more in the comment section down below. You made it all the way to the end of this video. Please leave the Lost Shade. I was about to say Lost Shadow, but I think that's like the name of a DLC or something. The Lost Shade in the comment section down below. Other thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to hit that notification bell so you not miss out on any videos second for the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. And also now become a member to the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks include the live reaction to the very next chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen and ad-free variations of all my videos. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dago the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members, Recliner Plays, Red Wolf 4765, Greyhound, and Atkins Void. I'd like to give another big thank you to our $5 patrons, Victor, Sean, RNG Master, Midnight Gemlord, Metal Solid Crisis, Kevin, Igneal, and Demix LND. Another scrumptious thank you to our $7 members, Autumn, Mornings, Lazo, and Sick Addiction. And I'd like to give another hefty thank you to our $10 patrons, Robbie Uchiha, Joaquin, Idemokami, and China Doll 09. And I'd like to give another gargantuan thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose. And I'd like to give a thank you, an amazing thank you to our $25 patron, Calvin Elder. And another thank you to our next $25 patron, eHack1. And a final thank you to our final $25 patron, Steeron.